Okay, so you wanted to do a deep dive into coral reefs.
Yeah, they're just incredible.
And you know what's so cool?
Right.
We've got this National Geographic video.
Oh, nice.
It is seriously blowing my mind. Like, we all know coral reefs are stunning, right? All those vibrant colors.
Yeah,
But there's so much more to them than meets the eye.
totally. And one of the biggest misconceptions,
What's that?
most people think coral are plants.
Yeah, like just swaying in the ocean current.
Right. But that's where things get interesting.
Yeah, the video's like, hold up, they're not plants at all.
They're actually animals.
Whoa, animals.
Yeah, made up of these tiny little creatures called polyps.
Polyps.
Yep, polyps. And they're fascinating.
Okay, so how tiny are we talking?
Well, they can be as small as a pinhead.
Okay, that's pretty tiny.
But get this, some can grow to be the size of a basketball.
A basketball. That's a huge polyp.
Seriously. And these little guys, they have soft bodies and stinging tentacles to catch food, just like other animals.
Okay, that makes sense. They need to eat, right? But they also have a limestone skeleton.
Yeah, that's where it gets really wild.
So they're building their own homes out of rock, basically.
Exactly. And get this, each polyp connects its skeleton to others, forming these massive colonies.
So it's like they're all linked up?
They're all linked up, acting as one giant organism.
Like an underwater city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A city built by these tiny creatures.
And some of these colonies grow for thousands of years.
Thousands of years, stretching for hundreds of miles.
It's mind-boggling. Like the Great Barrier Reef,
The Great Barrier Reef, it's massive.
visible from space.
That's how huge it is. And it's something like 20,000 years old.
20,000 years? That's older than human civilization.
I know. And it's just teeming with life. Coral reefs only cover, like, less than 1% of the ocean floor.
Yeah, a tiny fraction.
But hold on, they support a whopping 25% of all marine life.
A quarter of all ocean life hanging out in these tiny reefs,
Crazy, right? It's like the most densely populated city you can imagine.
packed to the gills.
Exactly. The video is saying there could be up to 2 million species living in coral reefs.
2 million. That's like rainforest levels of diversity.
Exactly. You've got everything from teeny tiny pygmy seahorses that can fit on your fingernail
Oh, those are adorable.
to these enormous giant groupers that can grow like 8 feet long.
8 feet. That's like longer than my couch.
I know. And it's not just the showstoppers. The reefs act like nurseries for tons of fish species.
Providing a safe haven for the babies.
Exactly. Protecting them, giving them food. It's like a coral kindergarten.
Ah, that's kind of sweet.
Right. So they're really the foundation of a whole web of life in the ocean.
Speaking of foundations, those vibrant colors, I'm curious, where did those come from? It's hard to imagine bright pink and neon green coming from an animal.
Well, buckle up. It's not the coral themselves that are colorful.
Well,
They're actually transparent.
Really?
Yeah, those stunning colors come from tiny algae that live inside them. Yep. They're called zooxanthellae, these little algae buddies.
You what?
Zooxanthellae. They have a pretty sweet deal with the coral. It's this amazing symbiosis.
Symbiosis.
Yeah, they work together. The algae produce food through photosynthesis.
From sunlight, right.
Yeah, from sunlight. And then they share that food with the coral, giving them energy.
Like rent for food.
Exactly. And the coral, they provide a safe and cozy home for the algae, and they give them nutrients too.
So it's a win-win.
A total win-win. Of course, the coral can still catch their own food with their tentacles.
Gotta snag those snacks.
Exactly. But the algae are their main source of nourishment, like their home-cooked meals.
Makes sense. But the video also talked about something called coral bleaching,
Yeah, coral bleaching, it's not good.
and that has to do with the algae too, right?
It does. So when coral gets stressed out, like from pollution or warming water,
Uh-oh.
they actually expel their algae buddy.
They kick them out.
Yeah, it's like, get out!
And then we see their white skeletons. Like the color just drains away.
It does, and it can be devastating.
The video made it seem really serious.
It is. While coral can recover sometimes, it's a sign that they're in trouble.
Like they're really struggling.
Yeah, and if that bleaching goes on for too long, it can be fatal.
So the coral can actually die.
They can. And that's a huge problem because remember, all those other creatures rely on the reef.
Right. It's a whole ecosystem.
Exactly. Imagine a bustling city suddenly going quiet. No more fish, no more color, and the people who depend on the reef for their livelihoods, they lose everything.
Wow. It's like a ripple effect. Everything's connected.
It really is.
So the video also mentioned something about coral reefs being like time capsules. I was a little confused by that.
That's really cool. So as coral grow, They're skeletons. They form layers.
Layers, like on top of each other.
Yeah, kind of like the rings of a tree.
Oh, I see.
And those layers record the ocean conditions over time.
So they're like a history book.
Exactly, a history book of the sea. Some reefs have been growing for thousands, even millions of years.
Millions of years.
Yeah.
So we can look back in time by studying those layers.
We can. Scientists can analyze the layers and understand what the ocean was like way back then.
That's incredible. But it also means they've witnessed a lot of changes.
They have. And unfortunately, right now, they're facing their biggest challenge yet.
Climate change.
Exactly.
The video didn't hold back on that.
No, it's the most serious threat to coral reefs. Warmer waters cause more frequent and severe bleaching events.
Like we were talking about before.
Exactly. And that's pushing a lot of reefs past the point of no return.
It's sad to think they've survived for so long.
Millions of years through all sorts of changes.
And now we're the ones putting them in danger.
It's a stark reality. It really makes you think.
So, we've learned a lot today. Starting with coral are animals.
Tiny little animals with a big impact.
Right. They create these amazing underwater cities with millions of different species.
All thanks to those colorful algae buddies.
And they're like living time capsules.
Holding secrets of the ocean's past.
But we also learned that climate change is a huge threat.
A threat that could wipe out these incredible ecosystems.
It's a wake-up call for all of us.
It is. If these ancient, resilient reefs are struggling, what does that say about the health of our planet? And what are we going to do about it?